በ19ኛው ክፍለ ዘመን ሁለተኛ አጋማሽ ላይ ኢትዮጵያ በብዙ ጠላቶች መንጋጋ ውስጥ ገብታ ነበር። ይሄ የገባችበት ቅርቃር ደግሞ ከኢትዮጵያ ውጭ ያመልጧል ተብሎ የሚጠበቅ አይነት አደጋ አልነበረም። How Ethiopia managed to resist its foreign enemies and continue as a nation? ይሄ በጣም አስገራሚ ጥያቄ ነው። እስኪ በዛሬው ሌሰናችን ይህን ጥያቄ ለመመለስ እንሞክራለን። አብራችሁን ቆዩ። ተማሪ ቤት ላንቺ ተማሪ ቤት ላንተ። ሄሎ ተማሪዎች እንዴት ናችሁ? እንኳን ወደ ተማሪ ቤት መጣችሁ። ዛሬ የግሬድ 12 ቻፕተር 3 ፓርት የሆነውን የኢትዮጵያ ኤክስተርናል ሪሌሽን ኢን ዘ ሰከንድ ሃፍ ኦፍ ዘ 9th ሴንቸሪ እነሱን እያየን እንሄዳለን። አብረን ቆይ። So the external relation of Ethiopia in the 19th century was defined by its defense against foreign invaders such as Egyptians, the Mahdists, and above all the Italians. Therefore, how the kings of Ethiopia in this period, Theodros II, Johannes IV, and Menelik II, managed to resist or repel these foreign enemies. Let's see one by one. Let's start with Emperor Theodros. During the reign of Emperor Theodros, there was not that much great engagement, political or diplomatic engagement with foreigners. It was limited with the affairs of Britain. ከብሪቴን ጋር ምንድነው የነበረባቸው ችግር? ቴዎድሮስ እና Britain was a country asked by Theodros to provide some technological assistance to establish a modern nation. But the response of Britain was not that much satisfactory to Theodros. Therefore, enraged Theodros began to arrest some diplomatic missionaries in Ethiopia and some religious missionaries. This outraged Britain, and Britain sent its troops, and under General Napier, Theodros was defeated. Therefore, in relation to external relations during the reign of Theodros, it was the only major event. That was the clash between Napier and Theodros. Theodros defeated, Napier released his fellow citizens, and they simply left. However, the repercussions of this engagement of Britain against Theodros led to another development internally and internationally. Therefore, let's move to the external relation of Johannes IV during his reign. In the history of Ethiopia, especially in the second half of the 9th century, the most war-ridden or embattled king was Emperor Johannes. Emperor Johannes እጅግ አደገኛ በጣም ብዙ ጦርነቶችን ሲያካሄድ የነበረ ንጉስ ነው። ለምንድነው እንደዛ የሆነው? እንግዲህ ባለፈው ስናወራ እንደምታስታውሱት ሰከንድ ሃፍ 9th ሴንቸሪ የኢራ ኦፍ ኮሎኒያሊዝም ነው። ኢራ ኦፍ ኮሎኒያሊዝም ደግሞ ዩሮፒያን ኃይሎች የመጡበት ነው። እነዚህ ኃይሎች ኢትዮጵያ ላይ ኢንተረስት ነበራቸው። ያን ኢንተረስታቸውን ኢትዮጵያ ላይ ኢምፖስ ለማድረግና ኢትዮጵያውያን ደግሞ ሬስ ሲያደርጉ ብዙ ጦርነት ያጋጠሙት ንጉስ ኢምፐረር ዮሐንስ ይሆናል ማለት ነው። እስኪ እያንዳንዳቸውን እያየን እንሂድ። The first external challenge to Johannes was from Egyptians. The Egyptians, under Khedive Ismail, they wanted to establish a greater territory or greater control in the Horn of Africa. ለምድሮ ይሄን የፈለጉት Egypt was under external debt, and in order to repay this debt, Egypt has to control some territory from where it can extract resources. ስለዚህ እሱን ለማድረግ Khedive Ismail wants to control Ethiopia, and this ambition of controlling the Horn of Africa was crafted by a Swiss general by the name Munzinger. And Munzinger led his army from Tajura, from the present-day Djibouti. And the second was from Zeila by Muhammad Rauf Pasha. Muhammad Rauf Pasha በዘይላ በኩል ወደ ሐረር ሊመጣ፣ ሙንዚንጀር በአፋር በኩል ወደ ሸዋ ሊመጣ፣ and Colonel Arendrup, he was a Danish general, and he wants to control the northern part of Ethiopia. እሺ በዚህ ፕሮሰስ ሙንዚንጀር ወደ አፋር እየገባ ያለ he was captured and ambushed by the Afar people. ስለዚህ ሙንዚንጀር ይገደላል የሱ ሚሽን ያበቃለታል ማለት ነው and Muhammad Rauf Pasha using trickery he managed to enter into the Emirate of Harar the city of Harar ሙስሊሞች ነን ሌላ ፍላጎት የለንም ሲምፕሊ ያው ጥናት ለማካሄድ ነው የመጣነው በሚል ገባ ተቆጣጣረ ሐረር 10 ዓመት ይቆያሉ ከዛ ኮሎኔል አረንድሮፕ from Masawa ይሄኛው ሙቭመንት ነው ወሳኙ ኮሎኔል አረንድሮፕ from Masawa began to move towards the highlands of Eritrea then Eritrea was under the control of Yohannes now when Colonel Arendrup moved to the highlands of Eritrea we get the Battle of Gundet. The Battle of Gundet was fought in November 1875. This was a battle between the forces of Yohannes, the force, and Colonel Arendrup, but it was the swiftest. በጣም ፈጣኑ ጦርነት ነው በኢትዮጵያ ታሪክ ወሳኝ ከሚባሉ ጦርነቶች በአጭር ጊዜ ተጠናቀቀው እና ግብጾች ደግሞ በጣም የተሸማቀቁበት ጦርነት በአጭር ጊዜ ተሸነፉ ግብጾች ተመለሱ ማለት ነው አረንድሩፕም እዚህ ጦርነት ላይ ይገደላል ዘን ግብጾች ምን አደረጉ ግብጾቹ ተሸንፈው ተመለሱ ነገር ግን የያዟቸውን ቦታዎች አለቀቁም ነበር ስፔሻሊ መሰወን ምናምን አለቀቁም እሺ ስለዚህ ራሳቸውን ሪግሩፕ አረጉና ቀጣይ ከተወሰኑ ወራቶች በኋላ ማርች 1876 ላይ after 6 months after the battle of Gundet the Egyptians regrouped themselves and expand to a place called Gura in 1876, March 1876. And this battle was also the same. Egyptians defeated and Ethiopians become victorious. In relation to the nature of the Battle of Gura was a bit difficult for Ethiopians, but finally they defeated the Egyptians. Now, what were the impacts of these two battles, the Battle of Gundet and Gura? Strategic outcomes. The first strategic outcome was Khedive Ismail totally abandoned his ambition to control the Horn of Africa. And ከዛ ቀጥሎ ለኢትዮጵያውያን የተፈለገው outcome አልመጣም because Masawa and Bogos the two strategic areas that in the first place led to the war remain under the hands of Egyptians control it, but the power behind their control was Britain. And the greatest outcome of this battle was in 1882, Britain took control of Egypt because Khedive Ismail became unpopular. He was not accepted or loved by his people. Therefore, Britain go and controlled Egypt. Now, in this process, after 1876, the correspondence between Ethiopia and Egypt continued. Especially Emperor Yohannes wanted to negotiate some peace treaties with Egyptians. Egyptians ይሄንን በቀላሉ አልተቀበሉትም ወይም እጅ ሊሰጡ ምናምን አልፈለጉም ዲፕሎማቲካሊ እጅ ሊሰጡ አልፈለጉም ስለዚህ የመጀመሪያ ማን ላኩ ጀነራል ቻርልስ ጎርደን መጣ ከዮሐንስ ጋር ተነጋገረ ምን አስማማቸው ቴሪቶሪዎቹ በግብጽ እጅ እንዳሉ ይቆያሉ ነገር ግን ኢትዮጵያ የፖርት ኦፍ መሰዋን መጠቀም ትችላለች የፈለገችውን ዕቃ ማስገባት ማስወጣት ትችላለች ኤክሰፕት ምን የጦር መሳሪያዎችን ማስገባት አችልም ማለት ኢትዮጵያ would be crippled እና ወደፊት ለሚደረግ ጦርነት በጣም አነስተኛ ፖዚሽን ላይ ሆና ነው የምትቆየው ማለት ነው አሁን ለጊዜው ተስማሙ ግን it was not satisfactory now Ethiopia under this situation there was another development in Sudan ምን ተከሰተ እዛ some Egyptian soldiers were captured by the Mahagistus and the only force that is capable of releasing these soldiers is Ethiopia ስለዚህ ኢትዮጵያ ያንን ስራ እንድትሰራላቸው እንግሊዝ መጣች ማንን ነው የላከችው እንግሊዝ ሰር ዊሊያም ሄዊት መጥቶ 1884 ላይ የሄዊት ትሪቲ ወይም የአድዋ ትሪቲ የሚባለውን ስምምነት ከዮሐንስ ጋር ይፈራረማል ይሄ ትሪቲ በጣም ወሳኝ ትሪቲ ነው በትሪቲው ምንድነው የተስማሙት አጼ ዮሐንስ ጦራቸውን ልከው ከሱዳን የግብጽን ወታደሮች ያስወጣሉ አንድ በመልሱ ደግሞ ብሪቴን የምጽዋ ወደብ ለአጼ ዮሐንስ እንዲሰጥ ታመቻቻለች ቦጎስ የሚባለው ቦታ ለንጉሰ ነገስቱ ይሰጣል ንጉሠ ነገሥቱ ቦጎስን ሲወስዱ ቦጎስ ላይ ያሉ የተሰሩ ቤቶች የግብፃውያን የሰሯቸው ቤቶችና ውስጣቸው ያለው መሳሪያም ለንጉሠ ነገሥቱ ይደርሳል የሚል ስምምነት ተስማሙ። ስለዚህ አፄ ዮሐንስ በቃላቸው መሰረት የግብፅን ወታደሮች ከማህዲስቶች እጅ አስወጡ እና ወደ ሀገራቸው በሰላም እንዲሄዱ አደረጉ። ነገር ግን ብሪቴን ቃሏን አላከበረችም። ምንድነው ያደረገችው? ሺ ሪፕሌስድ ኢጅፕት ዊዝ ኢታሊ። ኢታሊ መስዋዕን እንድትቆጣጠር ፈቀደችላትና ምንም አይነት የዲፕሎማሲ የተስማሙት ነገር ሳትፈጽም ለኢጣሊያ አስረክባ ጨዋታው ያልቃል ማለት ነው። ይሄ ማንን ያበሳጫል? አፄ ዮሐንስን። After the failure of Britain to uphold its promise under the Adwa or Heian Treaty, Italy emboldened to expand itself from Massawa to the mainlands of Eritrea. So they want to control and establish themselves at Saati, and when they marched to Saati, the ruler of Maramellash, the present day Eritrea, Ras Alula Engida, ambushed them, the Italians. He fought against the Italians at a place called Dogali, and he defeated them. And this was the first major victory of Ethiopians against Italians in 1887. Now, this defeat outraged Italians. Italians demanded some diplomatic apologies and some real territorial giveaways. For example, Italy asked Johannes to ask her official apology for the incident happened at Dogali, and they also want to control some important areas in the present day Eritrea, Karen, Asaurta, and Habhab, and they also want to reoccupy Saati and Wi'a. These areas, 5 areas, Wi'a, Saati, Habhab, Asaurta, and Karen, are important areas in order to launch their further attack after they control them. However, this demand of Italians was not welcomed by Johannes. Therefore, in order to solve the problem, again, Britain involved as a diplomatic broker. And General Porter was sent to Johannes, and the demand of Britain was upsetting to Johannes. Johannes refused the terms provided by General Portal, and the mission of General Portal failed. The Italians, in one or another way, managed to control Saati, and Johannes now ran out of choices and began to march to Saati in 1888. 1887 ላይ አሉላ አሸነፋቸው ዶጋሊ ላይ ዲፕሎማቲክ ሚሽን ተካሄደ። ፌል አረገሱ። ኢጣሊያኖች እንደምንም ብለው ሳቲን ተቆጣጠሩ። እሱን ከተቆጣጠሩ በኋላ የጣሊያንን ጉዳይ ለአንደኛ ለመጨረሻ ጊዜ መፍታት አለብኝ ብሎ ብዙ ጦር አሰባስበው ወደ ሳቲ ይዘምታል ኢምፐረር ዮሐንስ። ሃይቨር ኢጣሊያኖች ምን አድርገዋል? ሳቲ ላይ በጣም ትላልቅ ምሽጎችን ቆፍረው መውጣትና መግጠም አልቻሉም። የኢትዮጵያ ጦር ደግሞ ፊት ለፊት ካልተጋጠሙት ቪክቶሪየስ ሊሆን አይችልም። ይህን ያውቃሉ ኢጣሊያኖች እና ትግስት በሚፈታተን መልኩ ለ3 ወር ከምሽጋቸው አልወጣሉ። ይሄኔ ዮሐንስ was frustrated. Therefore, he abandoned the battle against the Italians and returned to domestic affairs, because Johannes at this particular time was faced with 3 problems. The Italians at Saati, the Mahdists in the northwestern part of Ethiopia around Gondar, and local lords in Shoa and Gojam. So he returned to domestic affairs because he faced triangular problems: the Mahdists, the Italians, and local rulers. When we say local rulers, Minilik of Shoa was not respecting him, or he was giving some signs of rebellion, and Negus Tekle Haymanot of Gojam also was not that much submissive to him. Therefore, he marched to Gojam first and suppressed some rebellious activities and punished the population. And from Gojam, he moved to Gondar in order to face the Mahdists. And this led us to the Battle of Matamma. The Battle of Matamma in 1889 የተካሄደ ጦርነት ነው። ጦርነቱ በማንና በማን መካከል የተካሄደ ነው? Mahdists of Sudan and ኢምፐረር ዮሐንስ ኦፍ ኢትዮጵያ። ማህዲስቶቹ ለምን ኢትዮጵያን ለመውረር ፈለጉ? ቢኮዝ ቅድም ምን ተባብለናል? ይሄ ትሪቲ ማህዲስቶች የያዟቸውን የግብፅ ወታደሮች አፄ ዮሐንስ አስወጥተው እንትን ብለዋል። ነገር ግን በምትኩ የተገባላቸውን አላገኙም። ስለዚህ ማህዲስቶች ኢትዮጵያ ምን አድርገው ነው የወሰዷት? ጠላት አድርገው ነው የወሰዷት ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ በዛ ምክንያት ወረሯት and the battle was unfortunately concluded with the defeat of Ethiopians. Emperor Yohannes was wounded and died the next day and he was beheaded by Mahadistus. ስለዚህ ጦርነቱ ለማን እድል ሰጠ? ለማህዲስቶች አሸናፊ እንዲሆኑና ኢንተርናሊ ሎካል ሎርድስ ሚኒሊክ ስፔሻሊ to declare himself as unrivaled king of Ethiopia. Emperor Yohannes previously appointed his son as his heir, but the power now lies in the hands of Minilik, and Minilik declared himself as sole ruler. And this is the end of the reign of Emperor Yohannes. In relation to Emperor Yohannes, there is one important point, that is his reform, religious reform. In Ethiopia, starting from Zamana Masafint, there was a religious controversy in the Orthodox Church. Therefore, this controversy was settled at a place called Borumeda. The emperor himself, Yohannes, appeared in the council and he chaired the council, and the Tawhado version of Orthodox Christianity, or that sect, was declared triumphant, and the others, followers of the other sects, were vanished, or they get some consequences. And it is not only the establishment of Tawhado as the sole religion to practice in Ethiopia. In addition to that, Emperor Yohannes declared that Tawhado Christianity has to be the only religion in Ethiopia. ስለዚህ ሙስሊሞች ምን እድል ተሰጣቸው? ወይ አገሩን ለቀው እንዲወጡ ወይም ደግሞ ወደ ክርስትና እንዲቀየሩ ስፔሻሊ አራውንድ ወሎ and የወሎ ሙስሊሞች ወደ ክርስትና ይቀየራሉ። ስፔሻሊ ኖቴብል ፊገርስ ኢማም መሐመድ አሊ and ኢማም አመደ ሊበን። እነዚህ ሁለት ሰዎች ክርስትናን ይቀበላሉ። ኢማም መሐመድ አሊ ማን ይሆናል? ራስ ሚካኤል። ከዛ ኢማም አመደ ሊበን ማን ይባላል? ኃይለ ማርያም ይባሉና ባፕታይዝድ ይሆናሉ and they forced their Muslim subjects to convert themselves into Christianity. This is the end of today's lesson, and to recap it, Ethiopia was facing great challenge during the second half of the 19th century. During the reign of Emperor Theodorus, there was one single incident, that is the invasion of Britain under Napier, and this led to the end of the reign of Emperor Theodorus. And next to Emperor Theodorus, Ethiopia faced so many challenges under Emperor Yohannes. Emperor Yohannes faced external challenges from Egyptians, Mahdists, and Italians. He was successful in most cases, but finally he was defeated by the Mahdists. This is the end of our lesson. የዛሬው ትምህርት ተመችቷችሁ ከሆነ ለጓደኞቻችሁ ሼር ማድረግ አትርሱ። ተጨማሪ ትምህርቶችን ለማግኘት የተማሪ ቤትን የቴሌግራም፣ የቲክቶክ፣ የዩቲዩብ እና የኢንስታግራም ቻናሎች አካውንቶች ጆይን ማድረጋችሁን አትርሱ። ቻው።